Hey, what's up, everybody? It's PDF44. So the video quality is not going to be great because it's still early and I'm not about to open up my blinds right now. So this is more about just trying to hear what I got to say. But in this particular video, I want to talk about a theory that I have about Kevin Durant and why he responds to a lot of negativity online and just seems to attach himself to that negativity. He just seems like he does to me. It's like when you hear people talk about why he responds and how he responds and things of that nature, the thing that they always say is that he's thin skinned. But for some reason or another, when I look at a competitor like KD, and some would say, well, I can debunk my own theory real quickly because of how he's handled his career in getting with a lot of players who are very, 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 very talented. You know what I mean? Making sure that he has a lot of help. But I just don't think a competitor like KD is afraid or is somebody who is putting himself in a light that he doesn't want to be in. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's allowing himself to be seen in a light that he's not interested in being seen in. I think Kevin Durant is one of those type of people where he's like it seems to me like he's a natural reaction to the trolling that takes place in this world. Um, Trolling online does a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And as we continue to go forward in this social media world, some of the things that are happening are going to start to influence some of the people around us in ways that are not conventional or normal. And that's not limited to trolling. That's anything and everything, any type of culture, any type of situation, anything that we have going on. You know, for example, I could see parallels between commercial music from when I was a child and some of the jingles that I'm hearing young rappers make today. Like their influences come from just what they're exposed to. They react to what it is that their lives have seen. We're all a reflection of the things that we've gone through. And I just feel like naturally, absolutely and utterly naturally, you're going to have people in this world who are going to feed off of the negativity that trolling provides, who are going to feed not only just, it's not just about being offended, they're going to be um, drawn to that type of energy. They're going to look for it, they're going to attack it, they're going to try to correct it, they're going to try to engage in it. As to where a normal human being or a mind that doesn't think this way, rather, will be offended by what they see, will try to avoid that negativity. It will take them out of sorts, maybe make them feel bad, maybe drive them into a bad space of mind. A guy like who I'm speaking about right now, of whom I think KD may fit the description of in this way, tends to find his fuel in that trolling, in that negativity, in those conflicts. You know, some people, and you may know some in your own life. Some people just live to be either in toxic situations, competitive situations. It seems like they can't get out of their own way. They're constantly in stressful situations, dangerous situations, the thrill seekers. Like you're gonna find all different types of people when you get into the sex game. You find the people who are into sadomasochism. You're gonna find people who are into unconventional stuff. And I think that KD may be one of those people who literally goes toward trolling and goes toward conflict and goes toward haters as a means of either satisfying something inside of him, making himself feel vindicated somehow. It's something like that in my mind. Like in my opinion, that's what the behavior shows. Like this is something that this person literally gets off on. And it's like you cannot underestimate the kinks and the different nuances of people's brains and the different things that people are drawn to in this life. We think about all the stuff that we are aware of, some of the most abstract phobias, abstract desires and things of that nature, things that we can't even fathom in our own minds, but we literally see somebody over there craving or being afraid of or what have you. This is no different. This is literally no different. This is just a frame of mind, a thought pattern that literally would just simply bring a person toward conflict. And that's what it seems like to me. The situation with KD is no different than some of the situations of his past. The burner account situation, it's like he looks for this. He looks for negativity. He goes online and he's searching for people to talk crap about his name or something that he can respond to, something that he can let aggression out of himself into. You know, like he responds to little people, big people. He got time for everybody. And to me, that speaks to something that you feel you need. It's like you're feeding yourself. And you got, for me as a person of spirituality and a person who believes in a lot of different Christian beliefs, stuff like that, stuff that I grew up believing in, my immediate natural inclination is to try to steer clear of that type of energy. Like, I don't feed off of that. If you notice, and I'm sure most of you who pay attention to me have, you go in the comment section, I really don't engage like that. It's because I try to stay clear of trolls, and I know trolls are an inevitability of what it is that I do. But I know who I am. I know what I'm affected by. I know my threshold. Maybe it caps off my ability to be successful because they say you must engage with your fan base, and I respect you guys. I appreciate that you guys would reach out to me, but I protect my energy. That's why I'm not in those comment sections like that. I know better. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But a guy like Kevin Durant, probably the opposite of me. He looks for y'all talking negatively about him so he can engage with you, so he can prove you wrong or belittle you like you trying to belittle him, or do to you what it is you think you're trying to do to him, however he sees it. That's what I'm seeing in his behavior. It's not something that he's taking in like we would take in. And his responses and the damage that's done in those responses, I would imagine isn't seen the same way either. It's like, how do I explain the thought? How do I make this make sense? It's like, if I were to try to, like, I'm putting my foot down, okay? In this situation, for example, I am not going to allow anyone to use my vehicle. Well, somebody else, if they were to have, in regards to their vehicle, they purposely bought their car so that they can let others use their car. You know what I mean? And if someone were to use their car for any reason, their response is going to be different than that of someone who is like myself, who if I see you in my car, I'm pulling you out of it. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if the example really fit, but what I'm saying is different things for different people. And even though we may be having the same consequences to our circumstance, we may be going through the same thing, I view it differently, I react to it differently, I absorb it differently, and I feed off of whatever aspects of it differently. And that's just how I see this. So as we look at Kevin Durant and we see how he admits to having a burner account, we see how he's going viciously at Michael Rappaport, and we see these various things where he's clapping back at fans and clapping back at anybody that's trolling him, going at it with some of these pundits who dare say a certain thing that he don't appreciate about his name. It doesn't appear to be a stress indicator for a guy like that. That type of conflict is a stress indicator. Like, okay, we are in duress. This is a problem. Okay, we are being attacked. We need to decompress after pushing out this energy. A guy like Kevin Durant, nah. He's absorbing that energy. He needs that. If he's not getting that, there's something wrong. The vibes are off. I don't feel no haters. Where they at? Like, that's the energy that I'm gathering from a guy like Kevin. So when I assess him, I look at it like that. And there's something else that I want to point out about people who are at the pinnacle of what it is that they do. A person like myself can shoot a basketball 12 hours a day, every day of my life. And have the competitive spirit, dig deep into my competitive spirit to be the best version of myself I could be, dedicate myself to the science of the game, overachieve to my greatest point. And I still won't get anywhere near Kevin Durant's greatness. Anywhere near it. So when you consider what it means to be inside of his brain, when he's that great, when he's playing his sport at that level, usually when people are that great at what they do, like that great, they have something in them that the rest of us simply don't have that would allow them to be that efficient, that would allow them to be that great. Now, granted, some of what Kevin Durant can do is based on his body, his metrics, tall, long, fast, that kind of thing. That works in his favor. But at the end of the day, to have the mental fortitude to be able to do what it is that he does at the level that he does, you got to be wired a certain way. Just like they say about football players, just like they say about Marines, just like they say about certain types of other fields of life. You got to be wired for what it is that you're doing there. Not everybody can do that. And when you're the greatest at it, even less people can do it. So my theory is whatever it is that makes KD react the way that he does to this negativity is probably the same thing that makes him be as efficient and as dominant and as amazing on the basketball court as he is. That's what I think. And I think if you were to remove that characteristic from Kevin Durant, purge that characteristic in him that allows him to go forward and engage in these conflict battles, these verbal conflict battles, if you were to remove that, you may be removing some of the very thing that makes him as great as he is on the basketball court. Could be wrong about all of this. So I'm certainly could be wrong about that. But this is my theory about the situation after just paying attention from afar, just like the rest of us. I just think they're looking at it wrong. I think he gets off on this. You know? And I know that if he were to see this, he'd laugh like, this dude don't know me, full of crap. He would get at me too. And I would tell him, maybe I'm wrong. Sure, I don't know you from Adam. But maybe this is a new thought. Maybe this is something maybe you haven't even thought of yet. Maybe you don't realize you do this. You know, at the age that Kevin Durant is, I think he's maybe 30, 31, something like that. You're still finding out stuff about yourself. Sometimes at that age, and I speak only for myself, but I believe others may go through this. I don't even know why you do certain things you do at 31. You don't know. You've established yourself as a person, as a man, and you've grown, but there's still aspects of your lifestyle, of your consciousness, of your behavior patterns. There are things in your childhood that maybe haven't been addressed yet that may make you tick a certain way, and you haven't even ventured down that path of your own brain. Like certain things you just have to discover for yourself, and sometimes strangers can look into your eyes and see those very things in you before you see them in yourself. It's the truth. Sometimes the perspective from afar, even though it doesn't have context, even though it doesn't have a certain level of information and understanding, it may still be able to pick up on the exact pinpoint vibe that you're putting out. I leave a lot of room for being wrong. But what I'm saying is, could I be in the right ballpark? Is it possible I'm in the right ballpark here? That's what I would say to Kevin Durant. From afar. Because you are indeed engaging with a hell of a lot of negativity. And it does not appear to affect you the way that it affects most people. You don't seem to be worried about the consequences of engaging this way. You don't seem to pull back on your punches as you engage in these people. It doesn't appear you consider these people's feelings as you're returning fire. It's like it's just an attack mode. It's an attack and attack and attack and attack. And to me, when you're always in the news for, and a lot of that is outside of your control. I'm not unaware of that. But when you're always being reported as somebody who's constantly clapping back at somebody who said something negative, you're gonna have people like myself who are gonna come up with these theories, man. It is what it is. This is what the behavior shows. So that's what I have to say about that. I don't know this guy. I probably will never know this guy. If he see this video, he would not like me. I know how this works. But I don't mean any harm or no disrespect, anything like that. I'm pretty sure you could pick me apart and figure out what's wrong with me too. And it's a lot. But I'll tell you this, man. When you venture toward negativity, what I know is when you go toward negativity, you take back a lot more than you think you're taking back, and a lot more than what you feel you're taking back in the moment that you're doing so. There are long-term lasting consequences for feeding on negativity. Because negativity is a destruction tool. That's what it is. It is a correctional tool. All it's supposed to do is wipe something away so something else can be built upon it. That's all it is. That's what negativity is. And eventually, it's going to start wiping away something that you don't want wiped away. That's what negativity ultimately does. That's what evil ultimately does. And eventually, it starts snatching away from stuff it's not supposed to. So I would caution anybody who fits the characteristics of what it is I just described, to think about that as they assess how they want to move going forward. Because that negativity eventually it's gonna consume you. You may be able to feed off of it for a while, but eventually it's gonna come to collect what you owe. It's gonna come collect that toll, and when it's time to pay, it's a lot more expensive than you want it to be. That I'm certain of. You got to cleanse yourself of that shit. You have to, or it will consume you. My name is BDF44. I'm out.